Hi, I'm Richie from RedLINK Distribution. Today I would like to talk to you about the new ElitePRO S1200 thermostat from Honeywell Home. This is the top flagship model of a new family called ElitePRO. There's the S1200, the S1100, S1000, and S900. The first feature that we really like on this is the video doorbell compatibility with the thermostat. So we're a Wi-Fi video doorbell from First Alert. That's another Honeywell product. And the Honeywell thermostat, which is Wi-Fi. All you have to do in order to enable this functionality is have this video doorbell and the thermostat in the same account on the First Alert app, and it will just show up when you press the button. It's that easy. So as far as some stats go, this one is a 5-inch screen. It's the only one that supports the video streaming. They all are going to come in black or white. Specifically on this S1200 model, it supports up to 4 stages of heat and 2 stages of cool on a heat pump system, or 3 stages of heat and 3 stages of cool on a conventional system. It has a variety of connectivity. It is Wi-Fi certainly. It also has Bluetooth for that kind of initial setup with the app, has Matter built in, and it supports the Honeywell RedLINK protocol. RedLINK primarily supports these wireless sensors where you can put a wireless sensor in different rooms other than the thermostat itself. You can either temperature average, you can say at different times of the day to look at different rooms so you can kind of base where your set point is coming from. It just makes the whole system a bit more comfortable. And then the other part of RedLINK is a product called the EIM, which is the Equipment Interface Module. The application where you would use that is if you had maybe a retrofit situation where you put this thermostat in, and with the new HVAC system and or this new thermostat, there just aren't enough conductors in the thermostat wire in the wall to support all the features of the new system. Just take 2 of the conductors that are there, will be your 24 volt and your common to power the thermostat, and then you mount this EIM, it's a little plastic enclosure. You would mount that in the equipment room or near the HVAC equipment. And all of the actual HVAC connections, like call for heat, call for cool, reversing valve, fan, all those things that we would have are now coming off at EIM instead of directly off the thermostat. It's just a really neat way to go ahead and use these thermostats in a situation where you don't have enough wires for it. Another couple features on this, it's got some really neat IAQ functionality, that's indoor air quality. So it's looking at the humidity and can control humidity. It looks at VOCs, and it also looks at estimated CO2 levels. And we'll show you more about that. Has a radar occupancy sensor in it, so as you approach it, when you walk straight up to it, it will wake up from this idle screen into the home screen. And it's got an ambient light sensor to control how bright that backlight's going to be on the screen, as well as a couple of configurable outputs. So as far as the thermostat itself, we're in the idle screen now. We just see some basic information like time, indoor temperature, and the outdoor temperature, which is coming from internet weather, which it just simply gets based on the zip code you put into the app when you first set up your account. So we'll wake it up. Now on the home screen, we have a bit more info. So the first thing obviously is going to be our set point. Right now we're in the heat mode, so we only see the heat set point. We'll show you some differences there in a moment. We've got the time on the top, and then we have the temperature, which is really going to take you in, it's the outdoor temperature, and that's going to take you to the weather. Right here we're looking at the hourly, and if we tap over onto 5-day, you would get the 5-day forecast. On the bottom we have the humidity, and then here where it says good, that's the indoor air quality functionality. So if we hit that, it's telling us that we have good air quality. It says we have very low carbon dioxide levels, very low VOCs, and fair humidity, which is why this is kind of up a little bit from excellent quality. And it's just because we have the humidity really low in here. It's winter time. So if you tap on that, you would see we're down around 24%. That's really low humidity for inside, and you can see that's why it's outside of its favorable area and why we get that rating. So then next down is the mode. If we get onto mode, we can say heat only, cool only, or auto. Auto being where it would switch between the modes. And you can see when we enable auto, now I get a cool set point and a heat set point. I can set either. Fans right there, so I can say, automatic mode, so it's going to run the fan when the system runs, or I can run the fan on manually, so you always leave the fan on until I turn it off, or circulate, where it's just going to run once in a while to just keep the air fresh. Back to your home screen there. And then in the menu, there's really just a couple of options. Priority, I mentioned these wireless sensors. If we had those on the system, with one of them or more than one of them, you would see another block here for each one of the sensors, and you can name those sensors. So maybe it's kitchen is where the stat is mounted. You might have one called living room, one called guest room, whatever the case is. And you would see what the temperature is in those other rooms, and then you can actually go in and say which rooms are active, base it on a time, base it on activity, because there is an occupancy sensor in that, and say, you know, the room that has the most activity in it, let's pay attention to that one for this heat setting or the cool setting. So a couple different options on that. Schedule is super easy. By default, all the days are grouped into one. That's every day of the week, and you just say, based on your times, what do you want your heat and cool set point to be? It's just meant for efficiency, really. This is where we have that schedule. You can change those times. You can add or delete intervals, like wake and awake. You could take one of them out. You can make your weekend different from your weekdays, whatever you want to do. And then this is mirrored in the app. So you could either set them up here and view them in the app. You could set them up in the app and view them here. It's always in sync. Weather is going to take us back to the exact same screen that we tapped on from the home screen. Air quality, again, same screen we saw from the home screen. Devices and sensors. This is kind of like where we showed you the priority, except this is where you can actually go in and add more of those sensors. I would hit add. It goes into that RedLINK join mode, and I could add more of the wireless temperature sensors. Wi-Fi, we can go in and view what network we're on or change it. Where this becomes really nice is if for any reason, if the Wi-Fi changes in the house, maybe you change your network password or the cable company comes out and puts in a new router and you get a new Wi-Fi name, you can just hop in here and say change network, and right from the stat change what Wi-Fi you have it living on. Connect app, we're already connected to the First Alert app. If you were not, you would see a QR code here that you just simply scan and add it to the app. Preferences is where we get into some of the really cool user experience features of this stat. Date and time is pretty self-explanatory, but display is sort of the big one. The screen brightness we have set to auto. I said this has that ambient light sensor, so auto is going to automatically set that based on the ambient level of light. Idle screen is super cool. We can change what we have on here. There are just a number of different kind of layouts, you know, more simple ones, more complicated. This one's kind of just a bold text. We can get to kind of a retro clock. You can get to more of a block layout is one of these. So you kind of have your choice there. And not only the layout, but you've also got some color choices. So we can go across the bottom, and then you can see we changed it to more of a green look. So anything you want to do there is pretty easy to change on the colors. We'll save it. Then we have our idle screen behavior. That's going to say, do I want transition detection means when I walk up to it, let's come out of the idle screen and go to the home screen, or you're kind of disabling that with the other option and saying you've got to touch it to wake it up. Temperature units, Fahrenheit, Celsius, your language, all the different kind of options there. Feels like temperature, we can enable or disable, so you have that option coming from the internet weather. Display offsets is kind of if you want to calibrate what temperature it shows. App change behavior is if you were to change a set point or the heat or cool mode from the app, do you want it to wake the thermostat up to reflect that a change was just made? Those are all changes you can make in that screen. Screen lock is where we can actually lock the screen and put a password on it, so once you get all these settings the way you want them, other people can't change them on you, so you can kind of lock them in. We get over here to equipment status. Whatever you have enabled for the equipment, this is where you can go and see what are we actually commanding that equipment to do at this specific moment. So are we in first stage of heat or second stage of heat? What position is the reversing valve in if we're in a different heat pump system? All that's there. Super nice diagnostic data for whoever installs a thermostat to make sure that it's doing what you need it to. And then Matter is where you would go in and set it up on a Matter system. So that's kind of the short story on the S1200, which is again the flagship ElitePRO. Stay tuned for a lot more videos from us on the other models as they come forward, and then also on the First Alert app itself and how this fits in to the larger ecosystem of Honeywell products and other products outside the Honeywell family that it works with. Thanks for watching.